Gordon Williams, and I'm from the Northeast Kansas Library System, kind of in the garage, but kind of in the Tetons today.
I'm Christopher Brannon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network, and I am in the mess that is my office.
Yeah. So today we thought we would start in on some videos of things that we didn't create so much as things that anybody can do that have been out there in the Koha community for a while, and we're going to try and do a few different videos about things that weren't ideas that we came up with, but things that we use a lot. So, and as always, this is the koha-US page at www.koha-us.org. And you can find these videos on the Learn From Us page. And if you go to the section where it says Jump To and click on Koha-US videos, it takes you right down to the videos that we've been making. And the thing that we're going to talk about today is something really useful, like when you run a report in Koha, you can embed links in the output of the report. And if you go to the Koha wiki and look up SQL reports library, there's a section under tips that's all about how to create these links.
Links are always helpful in a report.
Yeah, I use these a lot. In a lot of reports, like we have a report for weeding that I just call shelf list, that allows you to, on one side of the output, there's a link that'll take you to the bibliographic record. And on the right side of the screen, there's a link that'll take you to edit that individual item data. And I've got a lot of reports that link to different pages in Koha, so you can go straight to a patron record, or you can go straight to a bibliographic record, or in some cases, I have links in reports that will trigger other reports.
Ooh, snazzy.
Yeah, and that's a little more sophisticated than what I'm going to teach everybody today, or what I'm going to try to teach every day. But you know, like I said, this is something that I learned because it's there in the tips in the Koha wiki and the SQL library, and they've got examples of just about every kind of link you would want to go to. Like, you know, here's one this is the basic link you need to get to the patron information screen, or notices, or files, or circulation, or account, or invoice, or logs, or this one just brings up the patron's phone number. So all of these different links can take you all over the place. And there's links for patrons, for bibs, for baskets in the acquisitions module, all kinds of stuff all over the place. So
great.
So what I've got here is a really simple report that I honestly don't remember why I created this report. I have no idea what the purpose of it was. But if I run this report, I'm going to pop it open in a new window. This is a report that has links in it. If I go to the list module and get the ID number from a list, if I put that list ID number in there and run this report, it's just going to give me the author of a title in a list and the title of the item in the list. And the title over here is a link. And so this is a very cheerful looking list about the Holocaust. All titles about the Holocaust. So if we click on this link, Martin Gilbert, the Holocaust, if I click on this link, it'll take us right to that, to the bibliographic record for that title.
Very cool.
Now the way that you create those, if I go in here and edit the link, this is all the data. This is, you know, the information straight from the Koha wiki. But what you're going to do in these is you're doing something in SQL called a concatenation. And so what the concat command does is it says, take this string of text here, and that string of text happens to be a hyperlink. It's an AH reference from straight from HTML code.
Okay.
And it's going to take that and it's going to combine it with the biblio number from the database. And then after that, it's going to put a slash at the end of that. And then it's got the target blank command, which is the command that tells HTML to open that target in a new window.
Which is really handy because you don't want to
Yeah,
have to reload your report for every single item that you have in the list that you want to click to.
yeah. So if I click on any of those results, it pops the result open in the new window, which is really convenient. And then over here, I'm adding in the title. And then I'm finishing the HTML anchor command with that final A. And then this parenthesis over here corresponds with this one over here. So it's the concat command is concatenating all of the strings in here into one thing, which Koha then renders as a link.
So all of that is going to appear under the column labeled title.
Title, because I told it to use title as the name of that column.
So if you don't include that as title, what shows up there?
It looks kind of messy. You don't have to put the as title there, but if we put that there and run it with the same list number, then the column title is the concatenation command.
Yeah.
All spelled out.
That's this huge wide column, and
yes,
it really doesn't tell you what it is.
Well, I can figure out what it is.
One other thing I wanted to, I'd like to point out here is when you're doing the link, especially linking to something on the website, it's a good idea to not include the domain in the link because things change over time. You may rename your domain at some point, and doing so, it locks this report into that particular domain. Whereas if you omit the domain in the link, it will default to the site that you're on.
Yeah, normally, let me just put this up here in the notes. The full length link is http://staff.nextkansas.org. But Koha knows when you run it, if you just do everything after the CGI, it knows that it's gonna go to that link on the server that you're starting from. So you don't have to include unless you've got a link that's going somewhere outside of Koha, you
Right.
don't need to put that in there.
All right. So this is great. You can link to lots of information from within the report. Now, I want to ask you, what does this look like? For example, if I wanted to export this into an Excel file and massage the data a little bit, what ends up happening there?
Well, let's look at that.
Okay.
It's almost like we planned to do that. So I just told it to output as a report, and that's what happens in the report.
Oh
is
my.
you actually get the full, in the Excel, you get the full HTML.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it's going to look messy, so there are ways around this. So,
So how can we solve this?
well, that's pretty easy. I actually have two versions of the same report, and one of those doesn't have that issue. So I'm going to run this again. And this time, it's going to look just a little bit different. So here, I've told the report, I'm having it show me the author, just like in the first report, and the title is just text. And then instead of having the title be a link, we've got a button here that'll take us to the title.
Oh, so you can add buttons, which is really cool.
Yeah, anything you can do in HTML, you can. There's a way to cram it into a report. And so if we download this one, those buttons are still going to appear as the fully unformatted HTML, but all of the links are going to appear in a separate column, and all you got to do is delete those. You can just delete that whole column, and then you've got the data that you want right there.
Nice. That's easier cleanup. You don't have to go through there and
Yes.
whittle out all the HTML.
There is a little bit different. Yeah, go ahead.
What does the code look like for that? So
that's what I was just about to show. So the differences are the couple of little differences. One is that I added this class into the a link in the concatenation fields. I added a class that styles this whole link as a button. And the other thing that I did is in the first version, I had bibliotitle in the code here so that it was going to pull the title out of the database. But in this other version, instead of concatenating the title into there, I just take all that out and I say go to title.
or whatever you like. Yeah.
Yeah, or whatever you like.
So you threw the bibliotitle up on the previous line.
Yeah.
Separated that with the comma, of course, but you gave it its own column, and then you're just putting this button by itself.
Yeah. So there's nothing but the link in that final column.
It's pretty clean, pretty awesome. I like this a little bit better. I mean, it's nice to be able to link stuff that you've already got on the screen. You're not adding an extra column for anything, but the downside of it is it makes it a pretty ugly report to export.
Yeah, there are a couple of cases where there are quite a few cases where I leave the links alone because I've got the whole report style to be read on the page,
Yeah.
as opposed to being read and as opposed to being downloaded. So.
Oh, cool.
But like with anything with Koha, if you can, with the reports, pretty much anything you can do in HTML, you can do that for report.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that information.
Sure.
Good seeing you, and we'll see you next week.
See everybody later.